All right, hello. What's going on? Welcome back to episode 3 of the ZeroGainz Podcast. I'm Zero, that's Gains. And yeah, how are you doing today, Mr. LoreGainz?
Doing great, Mr. Zero. Woke up this morning, went for a walk with Miss LoreGainz,
That's
did some
good.
video editing because it's Sunday and gotta be prepped for the week. How about you,
Yes,
man?
yes, I'm doing great as well. It is Sunday at the time of this recording. Exciting things are happening. We're excited, and yeah, we're all having a good time. Yeah, how what's going on in terms of Lorcana? You busy? Got some things going on.
In terms of Lorcana, gameplay, a lot of gameplay with the new stuff, a
That's
lot of
good.
live streams coming up, and really exciting stuff. We don't have too many details about this tournament, but Zero, tell us about the tournament that's happening over this weekend. And today happens to be day two,
Day two.
right, of the new format.
Yes.
Hmm.
So I really wanted to discuss this tournament because this is the first triple deck tournament we have, I believe. So this is the first time we're using this format that we talked about in last episode and that Worlds is using. But yeah, this is triple deck. So if you guys don't know what this is the new setting or tournament setting that we have going on that they're going to be using for Worlds. So I would say it's on the more competitive end. Like it's going to be for like the upper echelon of players to use. But you have to use all 6 colors in your 3 decks. So it has to be two like different colors for each deck. You get to bench one of your opponent's decks at the start, and then you have to win with your other two. Yeah, bench like that, exactly. But yeah, so in your best of 3, you have to win with your other 2 decks. But I believe it's only in the finals where it's going to be best of 5, and you have to win with all 3 of your decks. That gets crazy. That gets insane.
That sounds fun.
Right. But
That sounds extremely fun.
yeah, yeah. But
I want to.
triple
I want to
deck,
do it.
yeah, triple deck looks super fun. From what I've seen, it is happening this weekend. Saturday just happened. Sunday is still going on. This is early morning, so the tournament just started for this Sunday. But yesterday we had 5K, and I think some 30 odd players battled it out in this format, and it was insane. I'm not sure if you had a chance to take a gander at some of the decks that were there, but it's been crazy, I think.
Yeah. What do you think have been the highlights? What
Um,
decks showed up and just like
yeah,
surprised people?
I think so. We see a resurgence of some old decks that we haven't seen for a while, just because I think maybe people had to play it because you have to
Hmm.
include all the colors, right? So,
Yeah.
eventually, what happens is you have your one deck, your favorite deck that you want to be playing, and then you have your like other deck that fits in because it's 2 of the other 4 colors, and then the
Hmm.
last deck has to just be whatever's left. So some of those whatever's left, or maybe they do plan it this way to make sure that these are the 3 combinations that we have. Some of the remainders are very interesting to say the least. Like I think the one I saw most often coming back that we haven't seen for a while is Ruby Amber. Like we've seen this.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Amber.
this color combination has been missing for a while, but just people had to play it because I think so. We see some blurples going on. If people are playing
Purple, green
blurple,
steel.
right, they want green steel. If they
Yeah,
want green
they want
steel,
green steel.
they're left with Ruby Amber, right?
Wait, what's wrong with green red? Why aren't people playing more green red?
I don't know. I did see some green red, so there is some green red going on as well. But
Wow. Okay.
yeah, I did see a lot of Ruby Ambers. A lot of kind of like down the line Ruby, like the Ruby Ambers we know usually,
Hmm.
like kind of like
Yeah.
Mufasa. Like I don't know if I saw Mufasa, but a lot of that like like the 3 cost Gaston that ramps into like huge
Yeah.
stuff, like that kind of stuff. Um, I did see. I think it was early in the rounds. Someone was playing racers, which was kind of fun to watch.
Bro, that's so cool. Okay, I need to go back and
Yeah,
watch
yeah,
these
no,
videos.
I definitely. I'll give you time to look at it at some point, but The races was interesting. I think they didn't win out in that round, but it was just I think it was the build a little bit that was a little slow. It was very cool to watch because they had the new King Candy, which I believe is new. But the ability is like when another racer is banished, you get to banish like a character, and then they had like I think that at some point they had three of them on the board, or two or three. So when they lose a racer, it's like you snipe off like three characters on the opponent's board.
Bro, that's like the most troll setup ever. That is that is some scary stuff though. Just imagine anything. You don't want to take their characters at that point.
Oh,
Dude,
absolutely.
they'd be fine with like banishing their own characters and they're taking three.
Right.
I think it's really cool. I think it's really fun, exciting stuff. Racers haven't been hyped since they first came up, right? Everyone
Yeah.
was playing Speedway, and it didn't last very long because it's not a very powerful deck. But in tournaments like this, you have the option of, like you said, going the Mufasa route. There's also a song route, Ruby Amber songs with Shark,
Mm.
B Prep, the Aerials. So that's also another version that can be pretty strong. But of course, I think personally, the Mufasa deck is stronger because it has the removal in its characters. You can't get shut down by like a Pete, or I've seen people use bare necessities a lot lately. And a green steel Pete shuts down most of these song decks pretty fast. But I think the Mufasa relying on its characters for removal, and it's got the ramp. You get a Tremaine on turn 4, or you get a Maui on turn 4. Just getting those characters out and banishing early is huge. Is huge,
Oh
huge,
yeah,
huge. But I
that
do like the racers.
yeah, that three cost deck Gaston is definitely probably one of the more terrifying parts of that deck because like you said, like those that ramp into like Tremaine or Medusa on 4, it's just those like crazy Ruby cards. Like if you get to hit those early, like it feels super good.
Yeah, and you can't really deal with the Gaston unless you have like an Ursula that can sing a Zeus, or you have a Brawl,
A
which
brawl, yeah.
you're not always gonna have the Brawl, and you're not always gonna be playing against somebody that's on red, right?
Right, right. That was really cool to see that racer deck for sure. I think so. The problem I saw from the rounds was it just had trouble finding the lore to get there. So
Mhm.
I think just if it just had a little bit more, it could get there. It was very interesting though, seeing that big Ralph too, the like super Ralph.
Oh, they played Big Ralph.
Yes, because it's the way to like get race. And I'm not sure if they were forgetting to because when I believe how it works is when Ralph gets played and when he quests, he takes a racer from your discard. Again, I should pull the card up too. I don't know if, if that's what you're doing right now, but
Yes, I'm doing that
yeah, I believe
research.
that is what he does. And then I'm not sure if the player was forgetting to add the lore every time he did it, or maybe I just missed it.
When he
But
quests it, because it says
yeah,
when you play this character and whenever he quests,
whenever he quests,
you may
yes,
return a racer from your discard to your hand if you
yes,
do gain one lore. So
yes.
he quests for two base. He's basically questing for two,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. As long as you have
Yeah,
race,
because
or yeah, I'm not sure about the
as long
removal
as you have
ability.
racers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you do have to pull a racer to get the lore, but yeah,
that's
that's
brave. That guy is brave, taking racers to like this kind of tournament,
right.
and he put on a show for everyone. So shout out to you, whoever you are, mystery
Yeah,
racer person.
let me find it. Where is it? I have it up right now, so I'll find it eventually. But yeah, Angry Kirk, Angry Kirk, good job, man.
Angry Kurt,
No, it was definitely
Angry
a show.
Kurt.
Yeah, he even did a part where like he played the one cost Taffeta, and then
Yeah.
he candy drifted it, even though because candy drift is you give it 5 strength, but he just played it, so he couldn't send it in. But candy drift at the end of its ability at the end of your turn, it banishes the character it did it on.
Mm.
So he did that just so it self banished, and then the king candy on his board like activated because it was like
Bro, that's
wow,
so cool.
yeah,
That is so cool.
that was a cool
That's gonna be the
interaction.
highlight for sure. That's just fun, man. Like somebody taking a fun deck
Hmm.
with cool interactions. Somebody that decides to pick up this deck that obviously isn't meta or isn't powerful. This guy practiced with this deck. He hopped on. He's like, I
Yeah.
don't care if my points go down. My what is it called? My ranking. I don't care if my ranking goes down. I'm gonna grind this deck and have fun with it.
Yeah, no, but that's just like one of the interesting decks. Yeah, there was green red. There was a bunch of like I don't know how much of it, but there was some aggro going on too, where they
Hmm.
had some super fast decks. They had yellow purple going on, um, and
Yellow,
um,
purple, hyper
yeah,
aggro.
like hyper aggro, yellow purple.
Dang.
We also
Speaking of
had
aggro,
yeah.
a lot of Amber Steel aggro. Was a lot of Amber Steel aggro. I
I
feel like
did
that deck
see.
is
I don't know if I saw too many Amber Steel aggros. I saw like some
mhm,
Steel Song, like the straight traditional Steel Song.
straight up Steel Song.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like back to the idea of like racers too. One thing I want to talk about is this triple deck format gives us this really interesting scenario where because from what I was seeing at this tournament, they
Mhm.
would just like you, obviously in triple deck you get to see your opponent's deck first. That's part of the rules.
Mhm.
Is you show them
Yeah.
all three of your deck lists, and then that's so that they can decide which one they don't want to play against that they can bench, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we could kind of see it on camera. They would just hand over a list that had a bunch of like names on it, like the you know
Hmm.
uh, the card names, because you would just write out I have like four of this and this and this, and then it's just a list of them,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So this would be interesting. Like let's say like you were playing against this guy, right? And he just hands you all these racers like on a list. You don't know what they do because this is not something you practice against. You're like, um,
But
right?
yeah, I would be like, bro, bring on the racers, bring on the non-discard. You are not playing discard.
That's
Get that
true.
thing out of here.
That is true. That's
I,
probably
I
what
think
happened.
I think well, I mean, so you have to basically when you're building this format for yourself, when you're building these three decks, you start with obviously something you're very good with.
Oh yeah.
And most of the time, majority of the time, that deck is going to be very strong.
Hmm.
So usually that deck's going to be kicked off. So have to be you need to have enough reps with the other two decks to do well
Oh
because you need
yes.
to know you need to not only be like a good player, you need to know the decks, be comfortable with them, be confident because most of the time your opponent's going to pick the stronger deck and
Hmm.
boot that one out. But fortunately, you can create two meta decks from the colors, right? And then the last one's obviously going to be the jank one.
Right.
Like for me, like for example, for me, I like Amber Steel.
Yes.
So Amber Steel is going to be my number one, and my number two would be probably Blurple. And the last one is
Red
what's the
green.
last one? Green yellow, green red,
Red green. That I know
red
this
green.
because this is exactly the frame of mind I go in. Because I was also like, oh yeah, I would
Yeah,
start Blurple, and of course Steel
yeah.
Song, and then Red Green. Yeah, that was my thought process too.
Red green. Then you're thinking, what am I doing with red and green? I'm gonna play it like maybe like a green steel discard. I'll play it like a green steel discard. We have
Yes.
that new red green action that discards an opponent's card and it pluses your character by 2 strength. I forgot the name
Yes.
of it. Do you know what
Undermine.
I'm talking about?
Undermine. Yes.
Undermine.
Yes.
Yes, Undermine. We have the best card in the game, Robin Hood Sharpshooter.
Oh yes.
And just the green package is very powerful. Plus, you add some removal with the red. It's not as good as green red or as good as green steel discard, but you know, it's close. And if you're comfortable with the discard mechanic, then that's a pick. That's a pick.
Yeah. No. That's definitely kind of the mind frame I have walking into it as well. But if you can like finagle your way into like some like decks that are like beneficial to you, that are good, then that's also good. So I think so. What we kind of saw at this tournament too is this was another interesting idea I think people were posing. So there's two things that I found interesting. One was I think some people realized, they said, okay, hey, I'm going to pick some super aggro decks. So I would say I think so one of my teammates was there, Aladdin's Castle. He's also a YouTuber. I'm sure you've heard of him too. But he went to the tournament and he brought like green purple, super aggro green purple, right? Mm-hmm. And then he also brought Ruby Amber. But his Ruby Amber list was a very aggressive list as well. He had the 3-cost lady, he had piglets, he had just a lot of like high lore gain characters that he would just swarm on the field. He was playing the new Minnie Mouse, the 08 bodyguard, that kind of just like protect his field and stuff. It was really funny because he was on camera for one of the rounds, and his Ruby Amber round literally lasted like I think less than 5 minutes because he just went like bang 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 and he just like won. He just
aggroed out.
Yeah, he just aggroed it out and won. So that was like very very fun to watch. But yeah, so he had 2 super aggressive lists, and he was left with blue steel. That one ended up being benched, so I didn't get to see his list, but I'll probably talk to him about it later and find out what it is. But I would assume Kiwi or something like that. But the idea with that is you run these aggressive lists, right? And then when your opponent comes along, you bench their steel deck. Whatever steel is, you bench it, because then that's kind of like the way to deal with aggro, I guess. Unless you see something that's like scarier, like maybe like Ruby Sapphire list that's like lower to the ground, like kind of like DKP or something. Maybe you think about hitting that. But I would assume his mentality walking in is you just bench the steel deck, because that is what normally deals with aggro. When they have like Storm Rage on, when they have strength or something, they can like kind of snipe like your aggressive threats early. But with steel gone, like you don't really have a way to ping these like tiny characters that are like questing for a lot of lore. So that is
and you're usually like your opponent's not gonna bench your aggro list if they see they
can't if all of your lists are aggro lists.
If they're all aggro lists?
Yeah, so he was playing like Ruby Amber aggro, Emerald Amethyst aggro, and I assume he was playing Kiwi, because that's another aggro list, right? So if they're all aggro, they can't ban out your aggro,
you bench their steel list, or you bench their because purple does pretty okay into aggro.
That's true
as well.
Too. Yeah.
So if it's a purple deck that can deal with you, then
you hit that.
Probably bench that one. Right. But you're right. Yeah, benching the steel, then you should be in a decent spot.
Or if they're playing purple steel, super easy. Just get that
Bro, imagine. Rest in peace, man. Who would go? Let's see. If they go purple steel, what's left? Red, blue, and green, yellow?
Yeah. Oh, interesting you mentioned that.
Under the sea?
Yeah. So interesting that you mentioned that, because another one of my teammates was actually
at
this tournament. Yeah. So another one of my teammates was at this tournament, and he is actually the one that won it all. So he is the winner of this, on Saturday at least. So for the Saturday 5K, he won it all, and that was his lineup. So he had purple steel, red blue, and yellow green. So
yellow green.
That's going to be the best one.
Those are decent decks. Those are pretty good decks.
Right. So he was doing red blue DKP. His purple steel was a very aggro dock list. He was running the new pigeon. I think his name is Vinny. It's like
you gain the lore.
Yeah, you gain a lore when your stuff gets banned.
Hilarious.
So that's a
hilarious.
Great. I think that's on the up and up. I think people are really liking that card. And I do too. But then he was doing yellow green discard. So I think he was saying.
What color is pigeon? What color is the pigeon?
It's steel. Yeah.
Is he purple? Steel.
It's steel.
Steel. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what won it all. One thing that I think is interesting is I feel like when Triple Deck was announced, a lot of people were like, oh, this is solved already. It's going to be like, red, blue, steel song, and what's left? Purple, red, blue, steel song, purple, green, right? They're like, that's it. That's what everyone's going to be running. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
But obviously this is like at the beginning, like the meta just started, right? So everyone's trying something new. But I think it's kind of shown that many different colors are doable because a lot of people were doing very wildly different lists and they were seeing success. So it was very cool to see. But yeah,
Did you
shout
see
out.
any Amber Sapphire? Any Amber Sapphire?
Amber Sapphire, I did not see. So that was not. I don't know. Maybe someone was playing it, but that's undiscovered territory yet. I think people can definitely look in there. Obviously, there's puppies, but there's also like just the aggressive ward list that people were doing before.
Hmm. Or a little Dino Veen, right? A Dino Noveen.
Oh yes, yes. I did want to try more of that and try and look into that a bit more. But yeah, definitely shout out to my teammate Thomas. Tomas, you did a very
Tomas.
very good job representing, winning it all for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. What are they feeding you guys?
We just gotta get our name out there. We gotta get going. But yeah, I think one thing that someone else mentioned that was also interesting was he would say some. I think I heard down stream. I was kind of watching in the background, so at some points I couldn't figure out what was going on. But I think one tech or one strategy that they had too was they would say, okay, I'm running green steel, right? I'm gonna put green steel there, and then my other two decks I'm gonna like really figure out. Like let's say what's left, like Ruby Sapphire and whatever the other I don't know why I can't think of it right now. But you have your other two decks, right? You could walk in and you're like, this is getting predominantly banned. Emerald Steel, like no one wants to play against. That's probably getting banned the most. I'm gonna hyper focus on making my other two decks like I'm gonna practice them super hard. I'm gonna make sure that that's like I'm super good at those two because I'm probably gonna be playing them more often. So as long as you're not terrible at Emerald Steel or whatever you think is going to be benched like most of the time. Let's say a meta emerges that there's going to be a tier 0 deck that's it's going to be the best deck. If you expect that to be the benched one, you can focus like harder on the other two decks just by running it, just by having it in your list. That's the
Oh, I see. You just get absolutely cracked at the other two decks.
The other two.
So because your opponents are going to be like, no, heck no. Tier 0 deck? Puppies? No. I'm not letting him play that.
Of course, yeah.
Keep the other two decks in. Yeah. No, of course. I get it. You have to play mind tricks with your opponents too.
Absolutely.
I really want to play this. Like I really want to play this. It sounds super fun. Maybe we can do it one of these days, Zero.
Yeah, I think we
Please.
should. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Yeah, I definitely want it to be part of my channel too, like the live part of it. So I'm gonna like force my teammates to do it probably against me so that I can try it out in real life.
Yeah.
But no, definitely.
Yeah, I would love to do some gameplay on it actually too. Bro, we are cooking up content.
Let's do it. I'm definitely gonna
dash a little bit of new format, dash a little bit of that set 8 stuff.
That would be so fun. I think like with you or something where I'm like, all right, here's my deck list, and you give me yours, and then we just look at it and we're like, what are you running? What is this? That would be so funny.
I would definitely troll one of them. One of them would be mega troll.
Oh, absolutely. I'm already thinking of like,
because I get to play it.
Yeah. So I don't know. Did you play any like Hearthstone at all back in the day? No.
No. That's the card game, right?
Yes. So I used to watch that a lot. I used to play it a lot. But there was a content creator. I mean, he's still active right now, but he's not doing Hearthstone anymore. Disguised Toast, right? So
Toast.
Yeah, he would go to these tournaments and he would run like the most like troll and meme stuff. Like the decks were like so funny, but he would win all the time. And I'm like, this format would be.
Can
so
you
good
do
for
that?
Me. I mean, yeah, it would
do that?
Yeah, you just have to find something like super. Like it doesn't have to be super troll. It just has like if it can win like that's good enough. But like yeah, he would find ways to like he would find like OTK decks or something, and he would just run those. Yeah. And then like Hearthstone's kind of they had something similar to like triple deck too, where you had to run like 3 different decks essentially, and he would just have 3 troll decks, and then like they would have to bench one, and then he would just have the other 2. But I totally want to do something like that where I just have like 3 kind of troll decks. I'll have racers. I'll have like something else that I find out, and then that's gonna be it.
Like blue-green shift,
blue-green shift, yes.
Inventors, and what's left?
Purple steel. I think purple. It's
Purple
right?
steel. Brooms.
Oh my god, you figured it out.
Brooms.
You figured it out.
Racers, and what did I say?
The hero shift.
You said it like 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Hero shift. There you go.
Okay, I had to find a way to
win. That's really fun. Just seeing those 3 decks versus another 3 troll decks, because it feels bad when you're playing a theme deck and your opponent's on like red blue, the most meta, like DKP. You know what I mean? Like whenever I choose a deck, let's talk about the other day. What did I choose? I chose like a Pirates theme deck. I think it was Pirates theme deck. And the other day I did the Inventor, just all Inventors, like no removal, just all characters.
Just all Inventors.
Yeah, and I hopped on Pixelborn Connect. it was like Ruby Amethyst meta, and then it was like another Ruby Amethyst meta. I just kept getting cooked. I'm okay, this was fun when I was building the deck, not so much when I'm playing it and getting cooked on stream. But yeah, it's still fun though. It was still fun. I still ended up winning maybe like 1 out of my 4 games, which is decent. I popped off the Go-Go Tamago twice.
Okay.
That was hilarious. Against one of my opponents, I had like a bunch of ink, and he had a Jafar, and he had something else. So he was gonna get game next turn because Jafar was gonna exert. And this deck does not have any removal, the Inventor deck.
Right.
So I ended up playing a Morph, and then Go-Go Tamago Shift, ink his Jafar, and then another Go-Go Tamago Shift on top of that.
On top of that, you triple shifted.
and I inked his other thing that was gonna quest for a lot. And then you're just like, what? and I had Hiro Hamada shifted.
Oh, okay.
Everything was warded because they were all shifted. And my opponent had like a Hades, a Let It Go, and some other removal in his hand. It was GG's.
Couldn't use it.
It was GG's because that was like a 10. That was like questing for 10 right there.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's...
But anyways, yeah.
Oh, I definitely know that feeling because, what was it, several sets ago, I was trying to make like Pavi OTK work. And when it works, it's fun. But then like on Pixelborn, it's just like loss. And like, oh god. Yeah, and I like trying to stream
please.
it. Yeah, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, this is rough.
Yeah. That's funny. Well, I mean, that's the cool thing about pairing up, or not pairing up, but getting your friends to hop on and playing. Like when we do it, right? When we do it, we choose two new decks, 2 jank decks, I guess you can say theme decks, and we play against each other. And it really lets you kind of get those gears going, right? It kind of gets the engine rolling. So you get to see what the deck does versus up against Amber Steel Songs and just like Zeus, Drink, Zeus, Holy World.
No, yeah, I
you're just empty board the whole time.
Yeah, I love running theme decks. So, yeah, any time, man, let's do it. But
sweet.
Yeah, no, this triple deck, super cool, super interesting. I can't wait to get going with it. I'm just gonna do like a quick scan just to see anything else interesting. There was like several Emerald Sapphire players. And it was the standard like the standard like Clarabelle, Bentier Will kind of stuff.
Nasty. Yeah.
At least one. Well, so yeah. Obviously, Aladdin's Castle was doing like a aggressive Emerald Amethyst, but we also saw the discard variant, or the discard variant with the one that like I ran too.
Yeah.
Blurple, a lot of Blurple. Red purple. Yeah, some people they found a way to do red purple. So those green blue players, I would think were kind of like forced into it because they wanted red, purple, and steel song. So that was normally the lineup. Yeah, and then Blurple players usually had to play Amber Ruby so they could play Emerald Steel. And there is now that you mention it, I see now. The this guy was in the finals, I think. Let me see. Or is it semifinals? Finals or semifinals? Christian, he did have Amber Sapphire. I didn't get to see it though, so I was it getting benched? Oh, hold on. No, my thing isn't loading. But
Who would have benched that deck?
that now I'm interested to see what it is because I didn't get to see. Did I get to see it? Oh wait, no, never mind. It's a graphic error. Wait, is it a graphic error? I thought I saw it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna look into it. But yes, talk about something as I do this.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. Amber,
Yeah,
you know what? I wish it was in. I mean, if it is, fantastic. I want to see the list. I want to see the gameplay. I don't know if there wasn't any gameplay. That's so sad. But I think Amber Sapphire is very fun. If it's puppies, if it's that Dino Naveen. I just put the Dino Naveen deck together, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
We got to see
I
some of
really
that?
like it.
Okay.
It's Dino Naveen Mufasa, bro.
Dino
Of course.
Mufasa.
If it has Amber in it, 95% of the time it's gonna have a Mufasa.
Yeah, I guess they do go together because, well, okay. Yeah, because, well, at least for Dino, you don't want too many actions because you don't want to
Yeah,
hit
because
it.
you don't want it to whiff, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But with Naveen, you want a
It's
lot of songs
running.
too, kind of, so
Yeah, so it's running 12. It's
12.
running,
That's okay.
well, 12 non-characters. It's like the 4 popsicles. It's the 4
Gotcha.
4 dinos down in New Orleans, and then 4 let it go removal. So the deck doesn't have a lot of removal, and it could struggle against aggro,
Yes.
which is why the bell's in there. Could struggle against aggro, and we have to play the Tamatoas to get those draws as well. So Tamatoa 6 cost, and I was thinking about doing World's Greatest Criminal Mind and playing a lot of Judy Hopps because Judy Hopps has support.
And he's a 6
And
cast.
if you
Yes.
give one of your opponent's characters an extra 3 strength, then you can use Criminal Mind. Usually you can use Criminal Mind
yeah.
on them, right?
Yeah.
As long as they have 2 strength.
Yeah, I think
Judy Hopps gives them 3, and then they're within range.
yeah, a lot of people forget about that support mechanic. I think support is just underutilized in general. It's actually like a lot stronger than people give it credit for. I think
Yeah.
I saw a list. It was popping up either this set or last set, I think, that used the Musketeer mini mouse for the same reason, because like
Yeah.
their
She's a
Amber
character.
Sapphire list was like heavy on the support. Like they had like the Wendy Darling and all that stuff, and that Judy Hopps. I think.
Wendy's so good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you support them and
It's
then you hit them.
it's
with that.
fun. It's definitely fun. It's very bad, but it's fun. I tried it out, and there was no, it was just too many things. And again, I kept playing against a bunch of meta decks, so they never popped off. Maybe once it
Yeah.
popped off, but
Yeah, I
it just
think-
felt like way too much setup to use the Criminal Mind. And by the time that you get to your Hades, which is like your hard removal, then it just feels a little too late.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just it's. I want to say, okay, one thing about I feel like the Lorcana community is they're like trends. They like to jump on the trends. Like when decks win, they like to go on those. But like we rarely see these like innovative decks like come out of the woodwork. We see it every once in a while in like maybe like a big tournament, one or two. Like there'll be something that pops up, but like I feel like we don't experiment enough. Like this Amber Sapphire thing, I feel like there's something there. Like there just needs to be like some people to like deep dive into it, figure out like a meta version of it.
A whole testing group.
Yeah, and then once somebody wins with it, it's just good. Like everyone's going to like jump on it. That's just what happens, I think. But I think there's something there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. It just feels bad to lose, right?
Of
So you
course,
don't
yeah.
want to. It feels bad to practice with a certain deck unless you have the testing group and unless you're testing against each other.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people don't want to lose their ELO, right? Like they
Yes.
don't want to lose their ELO. They don't want to take it to a big tournament and just scrub out because it feels bad. Because you pay for entry, you make the time to go there, unless you just don't give a crap, unless you don't care
Of
and
course.
you just want to show up and play a deck that you enjoy and you're fine with scrubbing out. But I think testing a deck with your group is very beneficial, especially if they have like meta decks. If you have the friend with the meta decks, like several
Hmm.
meta decks, you just grind it out, play against them nonstop. You make tweaks to your deck, and you have somebody else that's also interested in playing that same deck and making it stronger. And then you guys talk and chit chat, right?
Right. I mean, the one thing that I again like, I mean, I've been hyping up Triple Deck from the start since they announced it. I've been like, this is like my favorite thing I've ever heard of. I want to play it so bad, but I think this is
But
another good thing about it. Like in this tournament, we see Ruby Amber, like so much Ruby Amber. Everyone's playing Ruby Amber, even though nobody plays it, because like kind of that they have to, but also like this is a good like breeding ground for these kind of decks to come out. And the reason
mhm,
being is okay, one is open deck, right? You can see the opponent's list. So having
mhm,
these like off meta wild decks, sometimes it's to your advantage because if they see like even a picture of your card or like the card's name out there, they don't
mhm,
necessarily know what it does because nobody plays with it. The it's hard to have a surprise factor when it's open deck like this, but having it could be a big benefit as long as you make the deck like just somewhat like able to win. Like if it
mhm,
can grind out just one game, because in this format, your deck only has to win once and then it's done, right? Like you have to go to a different deck. So if you can build like an off meta deck that is just a little bit wild but like able to win, like catch your opponent off guard and win,
mhm.
then that's all you need to do, and then your deck can win. So that's a really interesting part of the game, I think, where like if I do find it like an Amber Sapphire list that just can pop off super hard, I just have to win once. I don't have to like go crazy with it, because like I
Yeah.
feel like what we are getting used to in our best of three format or best of two format is like you play against a deck once and then you're like, okay, I kind of figure out like what you're trying to go for. I'm gonna like stop it now, right? So
You know the
then your
game
next,
plan, yeah.
yeah, then when you know the game plan against like an off meta deck, like there's a higher chance that you'll be able to take it if you know what's coming out.
Yeah. The
But
surprise element is strong.
yeah,
Even if they look at your deck list, maybe they've never played against it because it's not that common.
right.
Like they know that the cards are in there, but do they really know how the deck plays and the lines, the different lines? Of course, you would know because you've tested, hopefully tested the deck.
Right.
So you know the lines of your own deck, and your opponent's not going to expect it if it's not a common deck. So I
Right.
like element of surprise, man. Element of surprise. It reminds me of my Mufasa deck when I went to
Oh
that
yeah.
DLC
Yeah,
Seattle.
you took everyone by storm there. They were like, "What is going on?" And you're just
Mufasa,
destroying
what
them
the
right and
Mufasa?
left. But that's
Yeah,
what I'm
at
saying.
that time, Amber Steel, the only Amber Steel was songs.
Yes.
Nobody else was playing non like you know what I mean? Like now there's a dig eat hole, now there's aggro, now there's this.
Yes. Yes.
But before there was that time there wasn't any like non-Amber Steel songs. Like it was all Amber Steel songs, and I decided to just play Mufasa.
I
It was
remember
it
that.
was an it was an aggro. It was an aggro, or like yeah, it was aggro because I was playing like daisies,
Right.
the Smees, the Piglets, the Dock Ramp, some Mufasas, and I was only on
And
Storm and
strength.
Strength. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was only on Storm and Strength, and with the Cindy, with the small Cindy,
Hmm.
which was very unusual. It was very unusual, and I'm not a trendsetter,
Yeah,
but
I
you know
think
what
you
I mean.
started the whole Steel
Could
Faucet thing,
could
man.
could be,
You started
could
the whole
be.
Steel Faucet thing, man. I believe it. Like I remember nobody was playing it. You also had, I remember that Amber Tinkerbell shift into Giant Steel Tinkerbell in your deck.
Oh yeah,
That
that was
was sick.
hilarious.
That was sick. You did that on camera too. That was like, ooh, that was awesome to see.
right. Yeah, against the locations deck. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
hilarious. So funny. But I'm just trying to say the element of surprise is very, very strong.
absolutely.
Nobody expect when you see a deck and it just goes the other direction. Nobody expects it. But then again, the game isn't that like the game has had more. Game's aged. Game is kind of aged, so
Hmm.
people can expect these certain things. But I feel like once not the ban, but once rotation sets
Rotation.
in,
Yeah.
that's just gonna stimulate so much creativity. Like
I agree.
so many new things are happening, so many new decks are gonna come up, and I'm so excited.
I'm
I'm
super
all
excited
for
as
it.
well. Okay, so that was all good. That was all happy thoughts. I kind of want to talk about something recent that happened that maybe isn't as feels good or anything like that. But we did have an incident this last week, so it's kind of fresh. So, podcasts like keep it to trends a little bit. I do want to talk about we did have a cheating incident, which doesn't happen.
Eating.
Yeah, it doesn't happen very often. I think for a game of our caliber, I don't know. Maybe this is too much. I don't know. We've had a few like every once in a while, but recently we
Yeah.
had one on stream, which that's pretty rare. I think seeing a content creator cheat is a little bit rare, just because I think like content creators. I don't want to like be too mean about it.
Generalize.
Just to, or too.
Hmm.
I don't want to be too mean or generalize, but I feel like
Hmm.
content creators generally know better. Just because I think we walk into this space and be like, the first thing that we think about is, I mean, we can't do this because you get caught
Hmm.
once and your whole reputation falls
Done.
into like
Hmm.
I mean, I don't think this is is it the most recent? We had the Clement situation in the DLC you went to.
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
before. Yeah, yeah. That
that
was
was
the
the
most
biggest.
recent.
I think that was the
Yeah.
biggest one we had, where I mean everyone knows his name now, and they associate him with this cheating incident, just because. Yeah, like
It was
that's
at
what
the
I'm saying.
highest level
Yeah.
and it was on camera again
Yes.
at the highest level, and there was a Mickey, there was a golden Mickey
That's a
at
golden Mickey on the
stake.
line. So that was way
So
worse. Yeah.
that was a huge deal. And yeah, the most recent incident, of course, as content creators, all eyes on us. All eyes on us, especially when we post something.
We put
Especially when we post something,
our
which
own
that
thing.
was the case.
Yes.
I'm I don't want to like talk shit or be like, this person's freaking terrible.
Yeah.
The act of cheating is never okay. It's never
Yes.
okay, especially, not especially, just anyone. Um,
Uh,
Nobody harassed this person.
yeah.
I feel like he's learned his lesson. It feels bad because, he is in our content creator space and
Yes.
he represents us as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he represents us as content creators. We may not be like directly affiliated, like, oh, he's on my team kind of thing. Like he doesn't, he represents us. And it's very unfortunate that this happened. It did get caught on tape. Makes you wonder how many other times
That's
has
the
this
thing.
happened? How many other times has it happened not on camera? So it's a bummer, man. It's a big bummer. It's a little unfortunate to see and find out. It really changes your perspective of that certain person.
Um,
And yeah,
yeah, I'm just gonna give a bit more context for because I'm sure some people don't know what we're talking about, but
oh
we
yeah,
do have
go
a
ahead.
content creator. He goes by Silent Night on YouTube and other spaces I got, and we're both acquainted with him to some degree. I don't want to
Mhm.
like throw you under the bus, but you've done some stuff with him. Like you didn't
No,
know
yeah,
about any of
it's
this.
fine. Like
Yeah.
yeah. In the past, he's been on my channel.
Yes.
Like I brought him on my channel.
And of course I know about him because like I mean we're good friends. Like we share it's like some spaces that we hang out in. But the specific incident was he was on Pixelborn and he was live, and I'll have it up so you guys can watch. But he was playing against Amber Steel, Amber something, but they had a Cinderella that sang Bare Necessities, and we could see as he showed his hand, he hid a card. He had a Storm Rage on in his hand that he didn't show his opponent because he didn't want it to get discarded, obviously, right? But I believe the context because truth be told, I didn't watch the entire stream. I just watched like kind of the clip itself and the game itself that happened. But from what he said, it was even lower stakes than because like we talked about the Golden Mickey cheating. That's terrible, obviously. That's money on the line, and you're taking like a chance away from someone else. That's super bad.
Yeah.
But this is pretty as low of stakes as you could get, I believe, because he's playing against a friend. I believe he was playing against a friend. A lot of people have said that he was playing against a friend, and he was just showcasing a deck. He was just showcasing his Emerald Steel deck. But yeah, he has come out and apologized. He did have an apology up, and kind of with his reasoning, and he did say like it was kind of his first time, and he just happened to get caught. But like you said, that's the problem with content creation. I think like sometimes like something like this happens, and it just gets swept under the rug, and this probably will be because again this was super low stakes. Nothing was really on the line, but it just since we are content creators and we do this long term, like we're going to be in the scene, doing things like, it begs the question, like yes, he said this is the first time this happened, but your kind of reputation for the rest of it will be like, is that true though? Like if you did it in this situation, what stopped you from doing it before? Then every single piece of content like you've ever put out gets put under the light, like maybe they cheated here, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the video did get removed. So, because of course, there's going to be a flood of comments, which happened.
Yes.
And of course, somebody, like, you don't want to deal with it. So you just remove the video. I don't know if his channel's still up, but
I think
exactly.
Yeah. It went down for a while, but I believe he brought it back up.
Brought it back up. Yeah, it does stain your reputation. I do appreciate that he came out and owned up to the cheating because it was cheating. The explanation, that's, I don't know, that's to your interpretation, and that's what he believes is his truth, and that's fine. But that just leaves us to interpret that information and make our decision.
Yes.
Cheating sucks. Cheating's not good for the game. Cheating in especially in this card game is very frowned upon because there are rules, and this could have been a high stakes situation.
It could have.
And there could have been no cameras on this. Like, there could have been no cameras to catch it. And if this happened in high stakes like tournament where there was like $5,000 in line and there was a win because of that one instance of cheating, then that kind of sucks. That just rubs me the wrong way. But, it is what it is. It happened, and everyone already has their interpretation of it.
Oh, yeah. I think bringing it up just because now I just remembered off the top of my head, like as we're talking about cheating in like a higher stake situation, I think more recently, Spessy did a video on it. He was in, I think it was only a set chance, or it was some kind of, was it a set chance or some kind of European tournament? And he caught a cheater, and then he made a whole video about it where kind of showcasing the guy cheating. But I think the point maybe he brought up, or most other people brought up too, is like, look, like this guy in this situation, he knew he was on camera, he cheated here, right? Like under the light, like there's a camera pointed at the board, and he still did it, right? I'm not talking about maybe Silent Night at this point, because I'm sure everyone's kind of different, but like maybe this guy in particular, he knew there's a camera there, he did it anyway, maybe out of habit. But in that instance, like when something like that happens, like, hey, if this guy is willing to do it on camera, like at a high stakes event like this, right? Like I think Clement is also involved where there's a high stakes situation. He did it on the camera. How like that almost like it kind of lends the question like how often he would do it, because if you even bought, like, this is under camera in a big situation, like a lot of eyes are on it, and you still did it, like here, you probably did it a lot more. Obviously this is different just because like in this situation, it was like not high stakes and close game, but like you said, like that's not an excuse or me excusing it, just because, yeah, like this could be a high stakes situation and this could still happen, right? But yeah, something to think about. I would think though, like yes, he did apologize, and like you said, it is up to you, the viewer's interpretation. You can choose yourself to like kind of forgive it or not. Like if you want to keep watching him, if you forgive it because, you know, whatever you believe. Like if this is like a low stakes situation, so you thought it was okay, like sure, like it's also your truth. Like you can choose to like forgive it and keep watching him or not. But even he said in his apology, I think, if he would understand if you didn't want to watch him anymore because like you don't like support this or anything like that. I think either way is fine. But yeah, not a fun situation
Definitely.
all around, but yeah.
Nuh-uh. But on a lighter note,
Yes.
it is, well, I don't know if we want to continue with anything else, but my closing statement.
Yes. No, I was
You
going
want
to
me to insert it
segue.
now?
Yeah, I was going to segue into that anyway.
Okay,
So
okay,
you
okay,
read
okay.
my mind. I feel like we're pretty good on wavelength. Like, usually, like, I feel like in the last two episodes, too, I'll be like, oh, I want
Yeah.
to go to the next topic. And then you'll bring it up. So I like it. Mr. LoreGainz.
Yes, sir.
It is your turn. Please
Okay.
take it away whenever you feel like it.
Alrighty, fam. That is it for today's episode. And before we close out, just a short little inspirational message for you guys to remember that at the end of the day, this is a game we play because we love it. Stay honest, stay humble, keep your head up, whether you win or lose. It's about the moments, the community, the stories we get to tell. Be kind to each other, lift each other up, and most importantly, have fun out there, guys. Until next time, keep chasing that lore.
All right. With that, let's close the third episode. Thank you for joining me again. See you in the next episode of ZeroGainz. Bye.
See you guys.